Today I'm going to challenge one of the biggest retirement goals out there, hitting $1 million. Now everyone talks about what to do when you have $1 million as if it's some necessary amount you need, but when you look at the data, the story is actually quite different. My name's Daniel McCluskey, founder of McCluskey Financial. Today I'm going to show you why $1 million is simply a big enough amount for a lot of financial advisors to take you on as a client and therefore talk about, and not necessarily some required goal that everyone needs to get to. And so here's what we're going to cover. First, 3 key data points that show how even with inflation, more and more retirees are retiring with less than $1 million. Second, when you need $1 million plus and when you don't. And third, a simple, practical step-by-step playbook of how to calculate exactly how much you need. Let's get into it. So the data is pretty blunt. According to Full Wealth in 2025, around 3.2% of retirees have more than $1 million saved. That means, doing some simple math, 96.8% of retirees, that's not just people age 60 plus or 70 plus, that is people that are retired, have less than $1 million. Now sure, can we probably safely assume that a large chunk of this 96.8% of retirees are receiving additional help from charities, from their family, from the government? Absolutely. But we can also assume, given the percentage being so high, that a lot of them aren't. And this makes perfect sense because according to a 2023 study, the average amount of funds that people need based on spending patterns is about $5,000. And when we're looking at averages, that's always going to be skewed pretty heavily by the people with much more money that are living better lifestyles. This also includes all housing expenses, healthcare expenses, assuming you need all of those. And again, we can definitely safely assume a lot of these people might not have those because of a paid off home, because they're living with family, etc. So retirement is not necessarily about having this 7-figure balance. This data point on its own clearly proves it. Now to continue, let's also look at the averages and median balances by age, not necessarily if they are retired. Ages 55 to 64, the median's 185,000, the average is 537,000, much higher than the median. The same holds true for ages 65 to 74, median being 200,000, the average being 609,000. Again, why is that? That's because the people that do have way more have exactly that, way more. That 3.2% of retirees that have $1 million plus is $1 million plus, not just $1 million. That means the least amount that any person in that 3.2% has is $1 million. And when there's around 300,000 to 400,000 financial advisors in the United States and about 1.6 million people that fit that 3.2% of people that are retired with more than $1 million, you can see why financial advisors, and they're not to blame, this totally makes sense, as marketing material to talk to and help and service that demographic. Now real quick, if you're watching this and you have less than $1 million, you're probably thinking, well, I need to know how much I need for retirement then. And you're right. And so stick around until the end of this video because I'm going to give you a first grade level math solution as to how to calculate exactly that. And the data doesn't stop there. In 2025, tax breaks are larger than ever. If we compare those just even back to say 2017, we're in a much better spot for those lower income people. 31.5 thousand standard deduction for married couples filing jointly, an additional 2,000 per person age 65 and older, and after the One Big Beautiful Bill Act passed recently, we have another 6,000 per person. We sum all of those together, you're pulling for 401ks, taking Social Security, that's $47.5 thousand that you can receive before you pay any taxes. Of course, there are also strategies to get this number higher. We won't focus on those today. So then when do you need $1 million and when do you not? Here's the simple formula. First and foremost, you just need to calculate your monthly expenses. Also, your annual ones, such as your random one-off travels, your car repairments, your home improvements, and factoring those annual expenses in with the regular monthly ones, like your housing, your food, your healthcare, your lifestyle. Once you have that number, then we want to find the amount of guaranteed income that we already have. That's our Social Securities, our pensions, our retirement pay, our annuities. What is that number on a monthly basis or an annual basis? And does that number adjust for inflation over time? Once we have those, we're going to take our expenses for the year and we're going to subtract our guaranteed income from that to get a number. So if it was $5,000 a month and you had $3,000 a month in guaranteed income, then your number is $2,000 a month. Then you're going to want to multiply that by 12 so you get the annual number. So if that number is $24,000, All you want to do from there, if we're using the simple 4% rule, which of course there's better ways to do that, all you're going to do is multiply that number by 25. 24,000 times 25, $600,000 would be your number that you need to be able to retire comfortably. Now, of course, there's some nuances to that. That's not completely guaranteed. You're going to have to look at the cost of living adjustments. Of course, there are some catastrophic things that go wrong, but this is a good starting point. So if it was me going about this, here's the practical playbook that I would run. When it comes to tracking my expenses annually or on a monthly basis, that can be pretty tedious. So instead of trying to look at each individual category and add those up, what I would do is just go back in the last 1, 2, 3 years and see exactly what that number has been. So bank statements, credit card statements, a lot of the times nowadays you can look in your app and it'll actually show you what that monthly or statement amount that you spent actually was. If not, maybe it is grabbing a calculator, printing out your statements, and going through each individual expense. Either way, it's worth it. And then what I would probably do at the end is sprinkle a little bit on top of that. The last thing that we want to happen is for us to get 3, 4, 5 years into retirement and realize we're spending 25% more than we actually projected. It's also worth noting that the consensus in the industry is that generally once you retire, expenses tend to drop by about 20% from when you were working. Again, not guaranteed, of course, though. Once I have that number, this is when we need to find our guaranteed income. First and foremost is going to be Social Security. You can go directly to ssa.gov, you can log in or create an account and get that projection sent directly to you, either virtually or in the mail. So you have, here's what your estimated benefit is by age. You've got that number, you've got that knocked out. When it comes to pensions or annuities, sorry if you work for a pension or an annuity company, you gotta hound these people with questions. It's not just how much money you're gonna receive at a certain age, but do you have more flexibility with that? Can you do a period certain where if you passed away early or you and your spouse passed away early, if you were taking it joint, it's still going to pass on to heirs for a certain amount of time? Is there a way that you could take a lump sum? Can you take it single? Can I take it jointly? Am I able to take it early? Can I delay it and let that go up? Is there any add-ons? All of these things need to be figured out, and you generally can get them all via a packet of some sort. Again, in my experience, and absolutely not with everyone, to get all of the details and know all of your options, it generally comes with a lot of dialogue with the people that you're asking questions about this, instead of them just kind of presenting you the most common option and then going with that because you didn't know you had other options. After that, we're going to take the annual number from our expenses, subtract that guaranteed income. That's how we got the number, multiply that by 25, and there you have it. So when it all comes down to it, about 3.2% of actual retirees have more than $1 million saved. The median for ages 65 to 74 is $200,000, not even close to $1 million. 2025 tax deductions are far better than they were in the past, pacing way ahead of inflation, and all you need to do to find your true number is use that formula we just presented. And so if you're currently sitting with less than $1 million and you want help finding that number or weighing in your own unique factors like factoring in a home sale or moving states, book a free consultation with us down below on our website. We'd be more than happy to help.